had a very interesting encounter with three wolves today, but put that in a little context. Yesterday, I packed up in a storm. Storm was starting to brew. I barely got my tent down, and I traveled the whole day up this small river that I'm following in order to get to the divide, to another river that flows to the Arctic Ocean. And all day I followed this river, almost zero visibility. I used my navigated by the GPS. About every 2/10 of a mile, I had to take a waypoint, and but I traveled long hours yesterday, hoping that the storm would get loose enough. Sometimes they let up a little bit towards evening, but this one got worse. And I made camp in one of the hardest camps ever I put up on a solo. Very dangerous wind chills, about 60-mile-an-hour wind, 0 degrees. No visibility at all, and if lost a glove or wind was so strong, would take the tent poles away if you weren't careful. And then I got up. The storm blew all last night, and I got up early this morning, and it was clear. A typical day after a storm. Bitter wind chills, 5 below zero, and I started traveling up this small river again. All morning and early afternoon. I still had to use the GPS in order to find it because it blended into the surroundings. And then mid-afternoon, it suddenly there was some relief, and it flowed out of a gorge about maybe 50 feet high. I pulled the canoe and the sled into the gorge, but it was all covered by snow. So I checked it out first by taking a load with the canoe, which was the lightest, and went up and over these huge drifts, and then went down the river again through the gorge, and I decided to check it out, so I went up high on one of the windswept knolls there to get out, and I was away from my canoe about 100 yards away, 150 yards, and to the north suddenly I saw 3 white wolves run over the nearby knoll in the north, heading in my direction. 3 of the most beautiful wolves I've ever seen. They've been pure white, really strong, clean-looking animals, but they were on the hunt for me. I never had any fear for wolves before, but kind of changed my viewpoint here. But they came up to me. They came up as 3, then they broke up into 2, and then the main dominant was a male, was the main leader of the pack. Came up directly for me, and the other 2 wolves started going around, kind of cut me off with the sled, and then this wolf came really close and was viewing me. These 3 wolves they weren't afraid at all. They were actually pretty happy. They looked at me as a pork chop. Imagine being on the other side of a wolf like this. And I had the bear scare explosive device on the sled, but it didn't do me any good here. And I had to deal with it. All I had was my tent pole, my ski poles, which were metal. And the wild animals, metal on metal, sometimes scares them away. But I approached this thing. At first, I didn't have time to be frightened, but frightened is not the kind of vibe you want to give to the animals at this point. I commanded myself, not through the English language, but I had this language that I use for the animals, and it's almost like the Inuktitut talk, an Inuit language like that. The animals like that listen to the intonation, and I didn't threaten because these animals have a sixth sense, and they could read through that. The threat is also something that intonation of being in command and forceful but without being threatening. And I used my ski poles, hitting them together, combination of my intonations and that ski pole, and he wasn't afraid at all. He was going around almost like basically that's how they hunt animals, is they surround them in this main wolf that came within 30 feet of me, and he wasn't scared. He was walking around, and he was the one that would give the command for the attack. Wolves on both sides, and my canoe down there 100 yards away where I have this bear scare kind of a device you shoot up, and explodes, and that would have definitely changed the scene. But that was a long ways away, and if I broke in a panic with the canoe, that was not the message I needed to show here, was fear and hesitation like that. So, and I just played it like any other adventure, and I was just really calm, and didn't show any sign, and I didn't feel any sign of panic, and it was kind of exciting, this communication I had with that lead wolf. At any time, this thing could come in on me, and the others would come in from the back, and I kept it up, and went on for about a couple minutes, circling around and moving forward, backing off a little bit, and when it got a little closer, I kind of timed my language along with the clicking of the ski poles, kind of a cadence I kept up, and then after a couple of minutes, all of a sudden, bam, they were just took off, disappeared, checked me out, and probably figured I was too lean for a meal. So check in again tomorrow, and over and out.